times I just got a job in a company car. So I drove, and we drove to Rosslare from Letterkenny, and 24 hours across to Le Havre, wherever, and another 6 hours down to the Bay of Biscay. And I said that obviously I had to come back. We're playing McCool's in the semi-final, and
Local derby.
and I no mobile phones in them days, and I got on a train and took the train to Paris and hadn't a clue where I was going. Had to take another train to Charles de Gaulle Airport and flew to Dublin, and my brother Sean collected me and came back down to the Cross that night. Went to bed. Friday night, played Red Hughes, played McCool's the next day in the championship semi-final, beat them by 4 points. And another friend of mine, Danny Cullen, took me back to Dublin, got on the plane and back out to Paris, and the train back down, and landed back at about 11 o'clock at night down, and sat in a wee platform and nobody there to meet me, no mobile phone. They were on the pub enjoying themselves. I didn't know what time I was going to get there. So I remember sitting at a little platform my own for an hour before they called for me.
You had abandoned them, so they didn't really care too much.
That's it.
But you made it over and successfully too, as it turned out, and you made it back. So, but that was a lot of travelling.
That was a lot of travelling them days, for one game. But I suppose that was the importance to try and get to a county final. Unfortunately,
you come from a sporting family. Your brothers all play a lot of sport as well, and you played soccer for the Curragh, and you played rugby at a high level with Letterkenny Rugby Club.
Yeah,
not the only Donegal player to do that at the time.
No, and Charlie myself, we got into trouble over Charlie Mulgrew myself. But 1987 we got to the Forster Cup final. Funny, if you quickly tell you another great story about that, John. But Charlie and me were down at a conference in Sligo. And for some reason, it was unusual. We were staying Friday night. You normally come home on a Friday. But there was a guy who was our regional manager. He's long since gone, and I don't know if he actually did. But he had this idea that we would fly from Strandhill to Belfast to play in Ravenhill in the final.
Right.
And there was terrible, no mobile phones, remember, terrible conditions, snow, sleet and everything. So we landed out in Strandhill. This fellow Jerry Feeney took us out, and he was a rep in Sligo. Mark Bradley, who worked with me at the time, went back home and Mark says, we'll see you sure when we get back. So we were flying, obviously. So landed out to Strandhill and not a sign of anything, and nobody knew anything. So into the car, terrible conditions. Left Strandhill to head the same day for like a midday kick-off in Ravenhill. So Jerry Feeney's driving like a lunatic, and we're at this stage we're in the outskirts of Belfast, and it's about 20 minutes to kick-off, and Charlie is starting to tug out in the front seat, and I'm starting to tug out in the back seat. Charlie jumps out in the middle of Belfast and flags down a taxi and says to the taxi, could you take us to Ravenhill? We're late, there's a final on. So the taxi man, we followed behind, zooming in and out through all these streets, and landed eventually at Ravenhill.
So and taxi driver guided you. This is before Google
correct,
Maps and all
absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Took us to Ravenhill. I'll never forget as long as I have a big, huge green door in front of us, and we jumped out, and there was a piece of paper flapping in the wind on the door, an A4 size paper, and we ran over to it, and we were looking to get in. Forster Cup final, Malone v Letterkenny cancelled due to weather conditions. The team went on the coast, and when they got to the Ponderosa and the Glen Shane Pass, and the word came through that
the game was cancelled.
Well,
it didn't get to you
boys. Didn't get to us. No. So imagine. That doesn't seem that long ago. There are no mobile phones, John. It's incredible, you know.
Oh, plenty of stories like that because there are no mobile phones, in contact. Now, your biggest challenge came in 2010 when you got a cancer diagnosis. That must have been an absolute shock. You know, somebody young, healthy, fit, and yet
just thinking, I was coming up to the day, John. Actually, maybe to the day, if not today, certainly this week. It was the second week in April. I had a wee symptom in March, and I went to my GP the very next day. It was Sunday, and the next day I went to my GP, and Brendan Forkin, Dr. Forkin, he's retired since, good friend of mine, he's moved to Galway, but he says, I'll send you for a colonoscopy anyway. So that happened in Sligo about this time 15 years ago, and discovered a few wee polyps, and he said one of them looked a bit suspicious looking, and sent that for analysis and came back and confirmed that it was. But they said it was very early and they would sort it, but I thought at the time maybe it could be done, removed by doing the colonoscopy, but they thought then they had this with Galway Clinic, and they have what they call a conference call, and they decided it was my age. I was only 48 or something at the time, and they decided then to do it surgically instead. So
So you had
obviously it was a
surgery.
much bigger. It worked. I had been quite a major surgery at the time, and but thankfully,
You recovered.
well, and I was told I didn't need treatment, but again, I've seen the oncologist, and she said because of your age, we'll give you a tablet form for a period of time. So that was it. But say 15 years later, John. So
But
you know.
you managed to avoid chemotherapy.
no, I had to take a tablet
did
form.
you?
Just she said because of my age. She didn't say I had to have it, but she decided it might be best just to have it.
And ever since that, then you've been very vocal about Relay for Life and helpful as well on the choir and taking part in various events.
Well, just after that, then 2000 and maybe 12, after I sort of got over all that, Relay for Life had started. So I put on a team for the first 2 years, but I've stayed in touch ever since. We have a wee choir there, which is great crack. And your own Donald Kavanagh there leads it up with with 5 men, and I think there's about 10 or 12 ladies, and when they're all there, and with great crack, and and I think we're always looking for. Well, yeah, Donald. I know Donald's always looking for more recruits. So if there's anybody out there that feels that they've had a cancer diagnosis in the past and they feel up to it now, I'm sure Donald would be delighted to have them.
But obviously, you need to be a top singer.
No, absolutely not. I'll not be doing any solos anytime soon. So you can be well disguised when you're
Part of a group.
and I stay well back at the back. So it's good, but it's good fun. They're great people, and it's good to just keep in touch. I've enjoyed it now. No, it's a great event, and I've enjoyed it, and it's coming up now again, the end of May. So
Absolutely.
it's.
So retirement now, plenty of chance to play golf and watch golf. This is a great weekend, Masters. You mightn't be playing. You might be watching more than you play this weekend.
Well, as I say, 2 weeks today, John. For the last 2 weeks, it's just been unbelievably. But I'm sure there'll be dirty, wet, rotten days when you'll be looking for something to do. So hence the fact that I'll hopefully, after maybe the summer, take a wee bit of time off now, and hopefully later on get back in and keep my hand on somewhere and do something a few days a week. I don't intend to go back certainly working full time again, but
working full time, working for 40 years for tenants and having that routine, and then all of a sudden you wake up and it's not there, and you have choice and you have options.
Yeah,
it's a wee bit of a shock to the system.
Well, but no doubt about it. When you're out and about meeting people all the time, like your phone has certainly been ringing a lot less, and but at the same time, it's been an amazing career, John. I was so lucky. I was doing very little at the time I got the job in 86. I just got into Donegal team, or 85. Sorry, I started with tennis. 84. Then I just got into, and this lovely man Tommy Hall from Belfast came down to launch tennis in Donegal, and Charlie Mulgrew. Charlie had already been there, and Dennis Roper, who was the chairperson of the Donegal VFI at the time, he was talking to Tommy Kelly over in Kellygordon. Tommy was our goalkeeper and our manager, Red Hughes, and Dennis is chatting to this guy Tommy Hall, he needs this tennis is flying. He's looking for another man with him. Tommy says, "What do you think about Marty?" So they arranged and got me the interview, and I say, hardly believe it. Just couldn't believe that I'd still be here all those times. And it was a great job. It was just I landed on my feet, John, and got a company car and travelled round from Malin to Bundoran and from Lifford to Dunlow and everything in between.
Pubs and restaurants
the
and
whole lot,
hotels.
yeah.
But it was great for tennis too, because your profile was building, and then when you got to play for the county and stuff. So, and I'd also imagine then that after your playing days were over, that you were bumping into players that you came up against, and there would have been great rivalry on the pitch, but it would have been left on the pitch, and you would have been able to have a lot of crack with fellas down in Killybegs and all over the county.
Yeah, great. Oh, it was great. It was great help to have when at that time you were playing with Donegal. It was great that to have a job. It was just you just couldn't have imagined it. As people said, did you get your dream job? And I absolutely did, because I wasn't doing very much at the time. So to get it was great. But massive changes since, John, and the whole drinks industry. I mean, it's just unrecognisable from then to now. And it was a lot easier then than it is now. And I think maybe that's why I decided, after all these years, let somebody with a bit more energy than me. Yeah,
a lot more competition now.
Seriously, there was absolutely. There was, at those days, like it was massive. The amount of, I was just chatting to somebody last week, like where I came from alone at Kellygordon Crossroads, you had Jackson's 21 Club on a Tuesday night, packed you on 6 or 7, 8, maybe 1,000 people. Baker's Corner in Kellygordon, where I'm, every Wednesday night, packed. Frankie's and Raffo packed the weekend. River Club, Grill was going 6 nights a week. Scorpio and Mount Errigal, like these places were wedged, like, and there's not one left. Like, you know, it's just changed. It's just changed beyond belief. There's such a new culture to think the whole drinks industry.
Change. Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, the very best with well, I was going to say retirement again, but I know you don't like that word. So whatever you end up doing, and I know there's a bit of a get together in here in Letterkenny tonight.
Yeah, a few weeks ago the VFI dinner dance was on, and Kieran Brogan was there, and Kieran said we'll have to do something, Marty, in Letterkenny whenever you're retired. So, as I say, it's 2 weeks to do. So Kieran has said that a few of us will meet up at 6 o'clock. John Nothing Major tonight, and his sister Sarah, just for a bit. If anybody's knocking about, Kieran says they're all welcome to come on just for an hour and have a wee bit of a chat, and hopefully we'll get on with retirement.
A bit of football and a bit of golf and a bit of whatever.
Yeah.
Marty, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, and John, just before we go, last thing to all the people out there that give me great support out through the years. They've all thanked me. I've said, to them all, and it's been amazing. All the pubs and all the great support go down through the years, and much appreciated. And and some lovely memories, and to leave the whole business with. And want to wish the people that are still in the business all the very best.
All right, thanks, Marty. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Around the Northwest with Virgin Media. Get uninterrupted Wi-Fi in every room with our Wi-Fi guarantee. Find out more at virginmedia.ie.
At Restex Beds, we are celebrating